Good morning from Bucharest, the capital city of Romania. It's my first time in Romania. I arrived last night after a 10-hour bus journey from Chisinau. I've not seen any of the sights yet. All I've seen is this street where my hostel is. You can see it's very nice. Today I'm just going to get my bearings, have a wander around the old town. I need to buy myself a data SIM, grab some coffee. I'm even going to see if I can get a vaccine. So let's go and explore the old town of Bucharest. Literally 5 seconds after leaving my hostel, and you can already see the contrasts that I've been reading about on various blogs about Bucharest. So on this side we have the old kind of rundown residential building, and on the other side we have this. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Looks very grand. That's the SIM card sorted. I was in and out of there in about 2 minutes. I went for the Orange. Apparently Orange and Vodafone are have the best network in Romania, and 50 gigabytes of data for 1 month has cost me £5.29. So that's the first thing. So now, as you can see, it's not exactly the nicest of days, so I need to find myself a coffee shop first of all, and then let's see if I can get a vaccine. Now officially I probably won't be able to get a vaccine because they are only offering them to Romanian residents, but they don't bloody want them. So, and I am going to be here for the next, I don't know, at least 4 weeks, so it's in their interest really to make sure that I'm as protected as I can be, so I'm not moving around the country spreading corona without realising it. Right, and another 30 seconds later and I find something called the coffee shop. Is there anywhere to sit? Look at this. Right, it's a small sit section. I don't know what this is. At first I thought it might have been a Holocaust memorial or something, but as I get closer to it, there's a huge gramophone in the middle. This guy sat over there, maybe he's some kind of conductor or something, or leader of the band. For some reason, one of the things that's become popular in Eastern and Central Europe over the past few years are umbrella streets, which are basically streets that are covered with umbrellas. And there's one here, in fact I've just walked past it. Some of them in Europe, you see, they're in a right state. They actually look worse than if they were no umbrellas. But this one looks okay. This guy obviously doesn't trust the umbrellas above. And Bucharest sometimes has a reputation of being a bit grim, a bit rough, a bit dirty. Well, this is nice. The streets are a little bit rough and ready, but in amongst all this there's some incredible buildings. Looks like it's just a restaurant, bar and lounge on the ground floor. Not sure what's above it. It's quite imposing. What I'm liking about Bucharest, what I've seen so far, which is not much of it, I've only been walking around for about 15 minutes or so. You see that building I've just shown you, this incredible imposing building, and then literally 50 metres away you get this thing. Look at that. As far as banks go, this has got to be one of the most impressive. In this area it seems to be all bars and strip clubs. There's a bar here, I don't know if that's the name of the beer, bastards. But lots of bars, and this one looks interesting. I might want to check this one out because it's called 1974 and that's when I was born. And you can always tell when you're in a tourist area because you see those bloody conmen. Hello.
You want to take a look at my menu?
I'm okay at the moment, thank you.
Don't want to try our traditional food?
Maybe later. Maybe later.
For you.
Okay, thank you. As usual, I'm having the breakfast struggle. I always find that breakfast is the hardest meal when you're travelling. Going out for dinner is easy because you can just go to a restaurant or any number of fast food places, but when you go out for breakfast, you don't always want fast food. I'm getting fed up with pizza. I've had pizza for the past 4 days, and all I've seen so far is pretty much pizza and kebabs. I've also not found anywhere that's offering the vaccination. I appear to be walking around in circles because I've just walked past the girl who tried to get me into the restaurant again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on Google Maps. I'm going to search for a McDonald's. Now, I'm not going to eat there, but my logic is if I can find a McDonald's, then the chances are that's going to be more of the city rather than the old town, which does seem to be very touristy. And I don't want to go and sit in some overrated, overpriced restaurant, so I'm going to find where the actual city is rather than the old town, and I reckon I'll find something to eat around there, maybe even a vaccination. Well, I didn't end up at McDonald's. I ended up at KFC. I just found this quite incredible bookshop. It's absolutely huge. So that's called Bucharest. I do believe there's another one somewhere in the centre, so I'll have to go and have a look at that one as well, because apparently that's equally as impressive. Nice bit of street art up there. Oh, look who's here. This is Revolution Square. It was named Revolution Square in 1989 after the Romanian Revolution. Romania was the last European country to overthrow its communist government, and the only one to do so by force. The Romanian Communist Party headquarters was right here, and it was from this building that the leader, the president, and his wife took a helicopter from this roof to escape. His plan didn't work, and he was captured and executed along with his wife. They were the last two people to be executed in Romania. Now the square is filled with monuments and memorials, and surrounding the square are lots of historical buildings. But the one thing that really draws your attention is the memorial that was erected to honour those who lost their lives in the Romanian Revolution. It's quite a controversial memorial, and when you see it, you'll understand why. Approximately 1,500 people were killed during the Romanian Revolution. Many people think the memorial is too abstract and doesn't convey the suffering of those that died. You'll see what I mean when I pull out. I'm going to walk away from the monument, and then I'll give you a glimpse of it from afar, because that's the only way you can really see what's going on. Critics of the memorial have described it as looking like a potato on a skewer or an olive on a toothpick. This is the memorial in all its glory. Now you can understand why some people would be critical of this memorial. I mean, how is that supposed to represent the suffering and deaths in the Romanian Revolution? I can certainly see the potato on a skewer comparison. One of the things that I have noticed about Bucharest is there's an awful lot of graffiti, and I don't mean, you know, street art. I don't mean murals. I mean just this kind of stuff on here, and it's just everywhere. And yeah, I mean, I love street art, I love murals, but just tagging randomly everywhere on people's houses and in the children's playground just makes the whole place look a bit messy, to be honest. Thought I'd come down and have a look at the lake, and well, that's not happening. Where's the water? Looks a little bit run down, this part, to be honest. So I'm now actually stood in the lake. I can't understand why it's empty. Where's the bloody lake? It appears they got rid of the lake and replaced it with an ice rink. I just had a look online, and apparently this ice rink always appears for the winter season, and basically the park is no longer maintained. No one's looking after it, and which is why it's in a bit of a mess. There are no public toilets anywhere, and so people, if they get caught, just kind of hide behind a tree. But there are local policemen who are ready to fine that kind of behaviour. So they can employ policemen to walk around the park and fine people, but they can't employ people to maintain it. I'm walking in front of the Palaces of Parliament. Construction of this building began in 1984 and it's still not finished. There are over 3,000 rooms inside this building. It's the heaviest building in the world, and if you want to see it, you need to come now, because apparently it sinks 6mm every year. Have a look at this. I'm walking up the side of the Parliament buildings now, just to give you some idea of the scale of the thing. It's a huge building. Just to the back of the Palace of Parliament is a huge church. Now I guess it had to be huge because it's right next to the Palace of Parliament, so it would look very tiny if it was just a regular sized church, but this is massive. It's completely covered in construction. I think they're still working on building the thing. I'm not sure when they started making this. This is a bit of a contentious issue with the people of Bucharest, because it's taxpayers' money that has been used to build this, and a lot of people see it as a waste and money that could be better spent elsewhere. The infrastructure of the city, transport, etc. As a tourist, it looks very nice, but I can totally understand why people would be annoyed at having millions spent on this thing when, you know, the streets are like this. It's got to hurt the people living in these apartments over here if they're struggling to pay bills, or their flats need renovating but the council tells them there's no money to do so, and they look out every day and see that this is where the money's been spent. This is what it looks like from afar. You can see all the golden domes. Looks quite pretty from a distance, but when you get right up to it, it's like a construction site. I walked about an hour out of the city because I went into a pharmacy and asked about vaccines, and she mentioned something called mall centre. So I searched for it on Google Maps and there was nothing called mall centre, but there is a Liberty mall centre, so I'm hoping that's what she meant, and that this place gives out vaccines. Bit of a mixed experience at the Liberty Centre. First of all, I heard Last Christmas by Wham, so I'm out of the game. I was doing so well as well. What are we on now, like the 20th or something? I actually thought I was going to do it this year, but that's what happens when you go to malls. And then I managed to find a vaccination centre And the very helpful woman on the reception, I explained my situation. She said, yeah, that's fine, no problem. You just need to send your vaccination records to this email address and we can give it you today.
Hell yeah!
Pfizer, which is the one I need. So, all seemed good. Then the main guy came out. He picked up my passport and looked at it, looked a little bit sad. I thought, this is not looking good. And he said, we can't give you your booster, we can't vaccinate you, because...
Why?
Why? Why?
You're not a European Union citizen.
No!
Yeah, not through choice, mate. So, because we voted to leave the EU, I can't get a vaccine here. I tried to pay with sovereignty, but they didn't accept it. Found another one of them Bucharest bookshops. This one's right in the centre. Look at this. As far as bookshops go, it takes some beating, these. Bucharest, I think it's called, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. On the top floor now, there appears to be a art gallery. Yeah, art space. As well as being an amazing bookshop, it has a really good collection of CDs and vinyl. All the new things in there, look. New Pink Floyd. Maybe not that one. Well, that's it for my time in Bucharest. It's a city that took a while to reveal itself to me. Amongst all the kind of grey, messy buildings in the centre, there are some real jewels to be found. Some of the architecture rivals that of Prague. It's just not as pretty. But after 4 days there, I can now actually say that I've really enjoyed Bucharest. Met some great people, some cracking nights out. Big up to the Mojo bar in the old town.
You love blowing my love. Don't go trying some new fashion. A prince on a razor castle,
Had a great couple of nights in there, and also a bar called 1974. I spent a few hours in there last night, and that was a really cool place. So yeah, they actually won me over in the end, Bucharest. And now I need to get a train to Brasov, where I've just heard from a traveller who's come from Brasov to here that it's covered in snow and it's very cold. So I might need to buy a woolly jumper or something. Now the departure board only gives times for trains that have already departed. So I'm just going to have to wait to see when my train comes up, tell me what platform I need to be on, and then away we go. Brasov, here we come.